All right, y'all come with me. We finna go shoot Quick Quack car wash for 2 days, and I got a DP job that I gotta do within the next 2 days, plus 2 weddings. So this is a crazy week. Let's go shoot Quick Quack car wash, a quick event, and let's talk about how we're going from owner to CEO while we kind of doing that. So I got some videos in the works. You guys stay tuned for the video. Sure, we getting there safely, so I'll put this down. This is almost like texting and driving, but peace out. Yo, what's up, guys and girls? Today we're gonna talk about what footage should I get for a 2-hour event and some of the equipment that's necessary for an event that's only 2 hours, sometimes even 1 hour. So we're gonna talk about that today. As you see what I'm doing, I have 2 Sony FX30s. I am setting up. The first thing that's extremely important is the A-cam. I'm gonna have someone who's talking, so I'm gonna have them mic'd up first before I set up my B-roll camera. I usually like to kind of make my A-roll camera a really big setup, so I got the Cine back with the monitor setup and the DJI microphones that I just got, and I'm actually really liking these DJI microphones. But the reason we're gonna set up our A camera first is because we wanna make sure this camera is rolling, getting all of the audio for our edit. That's the most important camera of all time. So we're gonna make sure we set that up and have it powered all correctly. I actually forgot my power cable, so as you can see, it's kind of ugly right now, but I have a power cable kind of running through. That was just dry sitting in my car. But next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna set up our B-roll camera with the Sony FX30. It is a RS4. I actually just got this gimbal, so I'm really loving this gimbal so far. And it's been a little tricks trying to figure out exactly how it works, but it's been a really nice gimbal so far and I really love it. And I'm gonna get everything set up before my client walks over, and right now he's walked over, and now we're gonna do something very basic, which is just putting a lapel mic on his tie. I always have a person kind of stick the microphone slack within the shirt and then bring it out within the 8th or 9th button and then kind of stick it on the shirt, or I'll stick it right on the tie. That's something I will talk about later, because I know a lot of people don't use microphones like that. They might just kind of pin them on because DJI Mini does that, but I'm still old school. I like a school lapel look, and to me it sounds better and it's more classic. All right, I'm gonna show you the setup. So when we got this gimbal setup going up, DJI Osmo Pocket attachment ready to go. The RS4 has been a really good setup. I've only used it one time. I wanted to use it in a really small setup. He is the Cine back with the ugly cable I was telling you about. This A-cam is ready to go 100%. It probably is already rolling, but my B-cam is already ready to go. We're gonna roll on audio. This event for me is 2 days. Some of the things you really want to get in this event style where you have a lot of people looking at them is you want to make scale in your videos. So the first thing I do is get establishing shots of the crowd, because we're going to talk about in this video, of course, who's going to be there, what you're going to be doing, X, Y, and Z. And now we're gonna go and get really tight side profiles of whoever is speaking while this A camera is rolling. So you really don't have to worry about things too much, because your B camera is just picking up clips at 4K 60. That is what I use for B-roll, is 4K 60. Sometimes I'll do 4K 24, but my A camera is at 4K 24. And I'm gonna tell you one super important thing. I want you guys to start holding your shots. As you can see, I am holding my shots really long in this video. I'm gonna have my shots be going for 15 seconds or more every time, because I'm also a contractor and I learned this a long time ago on holding your shots really long. I don't have a lot of footage from day one because it was kind of a quick event. Again, it was only 30 minutes. The next day is gonna be a longer day, so we'll kind of get into that after I get into the speaking portion. So hold on a second. All right, we're on the way back home, guys. That is a wrap for day one. Literally, this job is like 30 minutes, but it's like a longer drive to get there than it is to actually shoot the footage. But we got one more shoot. We got to shoot tomorrow in the morning, and then we got a DP shoot that I'll make a completely different video for, hiring one of my guys out, so shout out to my boy James. But we shooting, brother. We got a whole nother setup. You guys, hope you enjoy the BTS. I'm gonna buy a neck mount so you guys can see a little bit more of the stuff that's going on, versus like my little gimbal setup. But you guys stay tuned for more videos. It's your boy One Shot Nas. Love you guys. Peace. It's officially 6:21. We are 9 minutes early. I have a full backpack rig of stuff, 2 FX30s. Let's put the light on it. Mics, everything, fully packed trunk. We got a fully packed day because we got a 2-a-day today. So let's finish up this Quick Quack job really quickly, build out one of these rigs, put a Tamron lens on it, and kind of just go crazy. Simply, that's it. we're gonna keep it simple today. So I don't even think I'm gonna rig it out all the way. I think I'm just gonna look at the monitor from the side and just go from there. So let's go. Okay, now we're on day 2. So day 2, I'm actually gonna do something a little bit more simple. I'm going to make a Cineback setup with the Sigma 18-35 1.8 because it is 6 o'clock in the morning right now and it is really low light, and I love the 1.8 look. Of course, it almost gives like a 2.8 full frame look, and a Cineback to me just makes it feel a lot better. I'm gonna tell you guys about handheld just a little bit more, but I'm also putting a boom mic on because yesterday my client was a little bit more scared of the lapel look, which is fine. So what I did was make it a little bit better for them by getting a boom mic. So going back to that 2 hours worth of footage, the first day I got gimbal footage. The second day I can get less footage because for me the second day is the 90 minutes needed for B-roll.
Finished, Cine backed up, quick, easy, let's go.
Okay, now we can get into the meat of the footage. So now we are on the second day. The sun is rising. I have the Sigma 18-35 with the Cineback look, and I am now shooting. These are some of the things you're gonna need for your footage. You're gonna want to have the speaker who's talking, and you wanna hold his shots for as long as possible, or her. These shots are gonna be the most important when you're going back and pulling audio scratch. That's why I also have a boom mic on, because I get scratch audio, and sometimes I use that scratch audio. I'm also at 4K 60. I know a lot of people don't like to hold slow motion shots like that, but I'm also used to shooting at 4K 24 from me being a cinematographer. That is my preferred preference, but because I am now doing corporate work and I'm doing a lot more CEO stuff, I'm actually going to shoot in 4K 60 a little bit more just to make sure I have my footage needed. So again, going back to the footage you need, hold those shots longer than 15 seconds. As you can see, I'm actually holding my shots shorter, but it's only because I'm cutting the length for the video. And look at this, I've been holding that shot for a minute and now I'm going to another shot. I'm gonna get faces, I'm gonna get the conversation between the speakers, I'm gonna get who they are looking at. They're looking at their staff members, and you have to get sometimes some dynamic shots, but sometimes you want to get just some frontal shots. That's what I'm doing right now. And now we want to get the people. The most important thing about getting the staff members and all the extra conversation is because you want to show who he's talking to, and it's always great to show dialogue between people even though they're not talking. Now we're gonna go bounce around to get some B-roll of the cars. This is a quick car wash, so they do a early morning event, so I go and get the B-roll of the cars. Now I'm back to getting other shots of the speaker because I will be using this in my edit. Sometimes I won't, sometimes I will, but I like to double back and make sure I got all the footage needed for everyone who speaks. If I hear a different person speaking, I will go over there and make sure I get a shot of that, and then I will add, which is super important, someone who is paying attention. Don't get someone who's scratching their head or digging in their nose. No, get someone who's paying attention and hold that shot as long as possible, because they're going to end up nodding. They're going to end up having hand claps. And on this side, I actually got those. I actually held those shots a little bit longer, and the person I'm going to shoot next ends up nodding and he ends up clapping, and that is what you want. That is the ideal look a client is probably looking for. We are doing corporate shoots. We're not doing anything super creative when it comes to music video looks, moving the camera a certain way. You don't have to do that. And I'm also doing all this handheld with the Sigma 18-35, and it has digital stabilization on, so I'm holding this as much as I can. And again, I'm going back to getting different shots of the staff members because the speaker is also important, but what's most important is the company and what they do and what they offer. So now we're gonna go to the give out that they do. They give a 5 cars who show up the first, they give them out a year's worth of free car washes. And for this one is a little different. I've done this for a couple years, so now I've kind of got used to doing 4K 60 and clips, but holding those clips. And as you can see, I'm fixing my audio because I have an onboard mic. I don't use this audio as much. That's why I don't have a lapel. If I did use this audio more, I would put a lapel on him and keep every second of that audio. But I'm kind of just using a boom mic because I want to pick up some scratch audio that might just be important later on, but it's not extremely important. And I only know that because I've been shooting this for years, and I know this job is pretty quick. It's a 2-hour job. So with what you're doing, the best thing is to get as much audio as possible. Either that be an on-camera mic, either that be an A camera, like I did yesterday, where I had all the audio from all 35 minutes of him talking, and making sure that that audio is crisp and clean. As you can see, even in my B-roll, I am holding those shots because I want to make sure if I get a hey, like the guy gave me a peace sign, I am getting the hey on the video so I can use it for scratch. And if you look at my monitor, hopefully you can see it. My monitor is showing the levels and it's not peaking. I could be using 32-bit recording when it comes to the VM40s, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna leave it for camera to do it, but I'm gonna monitor my audio and I'm gonna keep it from less peaking, and I also keep my audio, all of my audios, I always keep them on safety tracks just in case someone does want to scream or someone does have something low they want to say, and I can use the first track and not the second track. Just depends on what's going on. So for 2 hours, you want to just be bouncing around in every department, and events is the best way to do that. You just have to know exactly what you're doing when it comes to camera operating, because camera operating for events is kind of high end. So you have to really make sure you're getting every single thing, really audio being the most. But again, I'm going back to holding these shots. I'm going back to getting everything I can. I'm clipping this up because I don't really need a whole long video, but sometimes you might have to do that. So I'm gonna tell you what the green box is. If you're a Sony shooter, you know exactly what that green box is. This green box is me holding focus. Now that is a habit I have from being a cinematographer and being a DP. I usually have ACs, so as you can see, the person's walking in front of that, but I'm holding that green box because that green box is locking on autofocus. So I am locking autofocus on the person I want to talk to, so I can also add depth to this image by having foreground. But that box is something that is a cheat code that I use all the time for my Sony cameras, because I actually turn off my autofocus transition, autofocus speed almost like all the way down, so I can manually do it without pulling focus. I don't really like super snappy autofocus, so I kind of just use it like I am right now. Watch, turn it up. I'm gonna turn up the ISO, then I'm gonna put that box on there, and as you can see, these bags are right in front of it, but it has not went to the bags, and it's because I want to hold that shot and I want to get the interaction, boom, immediately from what's going on. I want to make sure that person is in focus and that the camera is not bouncing around. So what you're gonna do within your 2 hours is something you can be creative on, but this is how I operate in my 2 hours. So now we kind of are done with all of the A-roll shots. Now we're gonna strictly do B-roll. Of course, we're gonna go back to the green box. And now we're gonna get our creative shots. It happened to be golden hour, which is one of the best times to shoot. So you're gonna see a lot of backlit footage. You're gonna see a lot of good Rembrandt lighting. You're gonna see a lot of shadows. Some things you want to look out for when you're walking around is some good portraits, especially if you're shooting a brand video. You want to see what staff member has the best lighting and go over there and just get a quick video of them, especially at 4K 60. Don't let people think you're weird. Just do it really quickly. You want to go over there and get a good shot of them at 4K 60. Hold on, listen to this. Her portrait looks really live with that light like that. Yeah, not gonna lie. Hell yeah, oh my fucking god. This is why you do 4K 60, because 4K 24 is really good, of course, but 4K 60 also makes people who are not used to being on camera, like non-actors and staff members, feel a little bit better when it comes to how long we're holding that shot. You're gonna hear me talk in the background a little bit, but I like to go ahead and make sure that I get a quick clip and not holding that shot for hours, and just to make sure I got 15 seconds up to 4K 24. That's why I shoot in 4K 60. But we're gonna go and we're gonna make sure we're gonna get as much signage, as much love and motion for the company, using the company's mascot, which is a duck named Quackles. Hey Quackles. And making sure we're getting all of this in 4K 60, looking at where the light is hitting the most. This is a location shot. Make sure you guys are getting your location shot, your signage. Now I learned a lot of this about signage from Corporate JT. I'm gonna shout him out, because when I actually edit his videos, he shoots a lot of signage, and I didn't usually do that in my videos, but I started to do it a little bit more, and I saw the importance of having signage within your video. So now I double back and get 2 or 3 shots within these 3 and 4 within these 2 hours that I have. I don't want to just get one shot of that. I want to get multiple angles of it. I want to get a mid, tight, and wide of it. that's something that you're gonna have to really do. Get a mid, tight, and wide, so you can have a variety of different angles, right? So we're still getting signage. We're still making sure that we're getting the pretty looks. I have an ND filter on my 1.8. I love 1.8, and I'm gonna pull those shadows and make sure it looks really good. But I'm also not gonna make it too shadowy. One more part of this shoot, but we are wrapped up with the camera stuff. Getting ready for another shoot later on today, a full corporate interview setup. We got one more part of this shoot, and that is the big, don't do that. That is the big DJI Mavic Mini 2. Not the big drones, just the Mavic Mini 2, because I honestly don't shoot drone footage that much, and I really don't even like coloring it. My homeboy Nate got some shots for me, but I'm downloading the DJI Fly app because that is the biggest app you'll download gigabyte wise after you keep using it, so I always delete it. We're gonna fly this drone, but bro, that's pretty much it. So, see you guys later. All right, let's get ready for takeoff. And takeoff is 100% permitted. Last but not least, get your drone footage, 4K 60, and make sure you get a lot of shots of the same thing, 3 or 4 times, left and right, up and down, easy as pie. That's a wrap, guys and gals. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.